Hi, this is Bob Dickinson of Innovice, and we're going to talk about the Run Manager in InfoSWM and H2O MapSwim, and how you can use that to either speed up your model, make your model more stable, or diagnose problems with your model. So the Run Manager is the little running guy. So click on the little running guy, and the common things are you can report the input parameters, the continuity error, control actions. I like to turn on as much as possible. You can also get detailed reports, but I normally would not want to get that unless you wanted to see text output for a VBA program or something. It also has Allogic Settings, so you have different evaporation for your models, different rainfall adjustments, different wind speed, different evaporation. The key thing is the base simulation options. That's where you decide what your flow units are in your model. Now the flow units determine what the flows are in your input data. It doesn't determine what you see in the output data. That's determined by the output report manager. There's very good process models. You have rainfall, you can turn off rainfall runoff, dry weather flow, RDII, etc. You can have either allow ponding or not allow ponding. There's three forms of routing. You have steady flow, kinematic wave, and dynamic wave. Almost always use dynamic wave. Kinematic wave is more for dendritic models that are steep, that go downstream, downhill rather. Infiltration models can be either Horton, modified Horton. Modified Horton is more like the InfoWorks ICM Horton. Green amp or NRSCS curve number, where you enter a curve number 60 to 99 and estimate the infiltration based on that. In InfoSWM, there's also, besides the EPA nonlinear reservoir routing, there's also Colorado unit hydrograph, the different NRSCS, Delmarva, Clark, Snyder, Santa Barbara, and San Diego. Besides the general tab, you have dates, where you enter the date, the end analysis, and the ending time. Street sweeping refers more to water quality. Time steps are very important. Unlike what it says here, you should have a time step that is sort of an even increment. So this shows that every 5 minutes you'll get a graph point. Wet weather and dry weather is a function of your rainfall data. Almost always use 0 as the total report. Time step, if you're using a lot of pumps, use anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds. If you're using more dry weather, wet weather, you can use 30 to 60 seconds, and the time step will be changed automatically. Dynamic wave is the real key. Here you decide what kind of force main equation you're using and other features. The variable time step is real key. It looks at the velocity depth of each link and the flow going into each node to decide what the current time step is. So this allows you to basically, even though InfoSWM and SWM5 is an explicit model, it allows you to quickly change time step based on the current conditions. Time step lengthening, I always use at least 1 second, because if you're using very small conduits, for example 1 foot conduit, and there's a 5 feet per second velocity, that means you're going to be using a 0.2 time step. So to use longer time steps and make your model run longer, use this time step conduit lengthening. Number of iterations go up to 20, and head tolerance can go down to this. So if you have any continuity error, try increasing the number of iterations or the head tolerance. File, you can either use a hot start file for starting the model off, or save the runoff, RDI, or other files to that. Quality, there's a variety of quality constituents. You can do the EPA SWM. InfoSWM also has H2S from InfoSewer, and the same code is also in InfoWorks ICM. You do corrosion, trace sediment, and here's the variables for the water quality. Advanced is things like skip steady state, which allows you to, if things are quiet and the dry weather flow does not change, it skips over the data for that. The InfoSWM is multi-core, so you can go up to 8 different cores, so your model can run faster by using the different cores. And then finally we have 2D for InfoSWM. So that's a brief introduction to the Run Manager. Very powerful feature of InfoSWM and H2O Map Swim, and it basically has similar features to what's inside of SWM 5. So thank you for listening, and we'll move on to looking at the graphics later.